Environment Canada identifies about 60 tornadoes a year on average, and we believe there's probably over 200 a year happening, and our project is really to try to identify those missing tornadoes. Canada is a big country and there's lots of areas where there's very few people, and what we're trying to do is find those tornadoes. So what we do is it's a partnership with Environment Canada. We use radar data to identify storms, and we can identify supercells, which often breed tornadoes. We track those. Then once the superstorms have gone by, we look at satellite data. Our whole world is imaged every day now, and we can get that information publicly. And so we look at satellite data, where the storm tracks were, and that has a resolution of about 2 meters, but that's enough for us to see whether there's scarring on the surface from tornadoes. So that's what we use as a starting point. If we think there's some hint of it there, then we hire aircraft, and we do very high resolution aerial photography from aircraft with resolution of about 5 centimeters. This allows us to identify trees and even the branches in many cases. And with that, we can identify whether a tornado occurred. And we use that information also then to determine how strong the tornado was. So we don't want to know just that there was a tornado, we want to know how strong it was. So this has worked really well in northern Ontario, say north of Superior, where there's a lot of trees. It doesn't help us with all the lakes there, but it helps us in the treed areas. In the prairies, Saskatchewan, southern Saskatchewan, there's a lot of grassland. Crops will tell us about tornadoes, but grassland takes a really intense tornado to leave a mark, and so we're still trying to figure out how to do that. But our overall objective is to identify all the tornadoes in the country. I think we can realistically find about 50% more, is kind of my gut feeling. The first 2 years in our trial is kind of hinting at that. I think in terms of the prairies, if we can start maybe working with storm chasers or doing that, that will help us find more, even when there's no damage to tornadoes. It's still a challenge often if there is no damage, because they might be wrapped in rain and it's just hard to see and it's dangerous.